The Ark of the Covenant 840,000 years. A portal bridge between the sphere of Amenti in the Andromeda Galaxy and the Earth's D2 core was constructed by the Guardian organizations about 840,000 years ago. This intergalactic bridge was called the Arch of the Covenant of Palator, and later became known as the Ark of the Covenant. Through the Ark of the Covenant, the race souls of the sphere of Amenti could once again be reseated on Earth. Souls from the sphere of Amenti would pass through the Ark bridge as pure consciousness, merge with the Earth's morphogenetic field in D2, then birth into physical manifestation. A fifth-dimensional security seal was placed upon the Ark of the Covenant, which meant that this portal operated as a one-way door. Souls of the races could descend through the passageway but could not return to the Amenti morphogenetic field for ascension unless they had fifth-dimensional coding in their gene structure. This genetic ticket to freedom became known as the Shield of the Ark, and the incarnates who bore this fifth-dimensional shield within their genetic code could pass through the seal on the Ark of the Covenant and return, through Amenti, to Terra. As races 3, 4 and 5 did not have the fifth DNA strand within their genetic imprint, they could not return through the Ark, even as consciousness, unless the seals of Palator and Amenti were released. Release of the seal of Amenti would allow these races to merge with their antiparticles and pick up the fifth strand. But first the fourth-dimensional seal of Palator had to be released. Evolution would take time for races 3-5 of the third seeding. Those who could not re-enter the Amenti morphogenetic field would evolve within the fourth-dimensional astral planes between incarnations, along with those identity fragments created through the seal of Palator, until the time when the Ark of the Covenant was opened and the fifth-dimensional seal on the Ark released. The sixth race Muvarians and their Melchizedek cloister then held the key to ascension. As the fifth DNA strand was included in their genetic imprint, the sixth races would be born with the shield of the Ark in their genetic code, and as the Anunnaki human hybrids Anu were to be seeded through the Melchizedek cloister, the Anu would also bear the shield of the Ark. Those bearing the shield of the Ark would become the Earth Guardians of the Ark of the Covenant and the Sphere of Amenti. The Ark of the Covenant was designed in such a way that the Sphere of Amenti could eventually be re-entered into the Earth core through the portal bridge of the Ark. In this way the Ark became self-regulating. The return of the Sphere of Amenti would depend upon conditions in the Earth's planetary grid, and the Guardians would not have to re-enter the sphere. The fifth-dimensional seal on the Ark of the Covenant was designed to be released once a certain percentage of the Earth's population had assembled the fifth DNA strand, which meant that a certain number of the Melchizedek cloister would have to be born upon the planet. If 8% of the living population could assemble the fifth DNA strand, the Earth's grid vibration would rise, affecting the vibrational speed of the energy particles within D2 Earth core. As the D2 particles began to vibrate faster, a blue-white spark of fifth-dimensional high-frequency energy would be sent up from the Earth core, through the portal bridge of the Ark of the Covenant. This spark would penetrate the fifth-dimensional seal on the Ark and enter the blue flame within the Sphere of Amenti. The blue flame would then send a corresponding spark of fifth-dimensional frequency back into the Earth's core, which would open the Earth's morphogenetic field to accept the Sphere of Amenti, while raising the Earth's grid speed high enough to hold the D5 blue flame morphogenetic field of Terra. Upon the second spark, the Sphere of Amenti would begin its descent through the Ark of the Covenant, while the blue flame remained within the Andromeda planet. Originally, the descent of the Sphere of Amenti was to take about 2,000 years, its energies becoming progressively more available to the peoples of Earth, stimulating the assembly of the fifth DNA strand and the raising of consciousness. During its 2,000-year descent, the Earth grid speed would rise in increments, allowing the Earth's energy system to adjust to the increasing infusion of high-frequency energy. Once the sphere was repositioned within the Earth core, there would be a period of several years for the Earth grid to assimilate the new frequency, and the race memory would progressively infuse the Earth grid. As the race memory from the Amenti morphogenetic field filtered through the Earth grid, this energy would stimulate the DNA of everyone on the planet, and the lost memory would re-enter the cellular memory of individuals as their DNA strands began to assemble through the new fifth-dimensional frequency now available to them through the Earth core. Over the course of those several years, the races would evolve rapidly, and a mass awakening to the lost memory of multidimensional reality would occur within large numbers of the population. Through these energetic processes, the Earth and her people would be prepared to receive the blue flame of Amenti. The blue flame would begin a rapid descent to Earth core following the opening of the Ark of the Covenant. It would take approximately 12 years for the blue flame to descend to Earth through the Ark of the Covenant. Return of the blue flame was a very precise process, and had to be orchestrated in synchronization with the natural time cycles of which Earth was a part. Entering Earth during the period of natural dimensional blending that occurs at various times within Earth's time cycle. Timing was very important in the return of the blue flame, as certain conditions had to be planned in advance of its return. During the dimensional blend, the blue flame could not directly enter the sphere of Amenti, as the sphere would be connected to the Earth's morphogenetic field at D2. The inner Earth portals to D2 open during the dimensional blending period. And if the fifth-dimensional frequencies of the blue flame merged directly with the second-dimensional frequencies of Earth's core, Earth's planetary grid would explode. The fifth-dimensional frequencies had to be dispersed through the Earth grid, via the energetic fields of certain people alive on the planet. The bioenergetic fields of those individuals would serve as frequency modulators for the fifth-dimensional energy. These individuals would hold the D5 frequency of the blue flame within their own energy system through the height of the dimensional blending. Then, when the natural cycle of dimensional blend reached its close, the blue flame would be returned to the sphere of Amenti at Earth's core and the halls of Amenti. The ascension portals to Terra would open to those on the planet who had assembled the fifth DNA strand and could pass through the blue flame. For people who had not yet assembled the fifth strand, much information on how to go about accelerating this process would be made available, as the memory banks of the race would be restored. As long as the blue flame remained within the sphere of Amenti at Earth's core, the ascension portals to Terra would remain open to the races, allowing them to evolve rapidly and complete their tour of incarnational duty on Earth. The souls trapped within the D4 astral and D2 elemental kingdoms could also complete their evolution and ascend. The individuals who would be responsible for holding the fifth-dimensional frequency within their bioenergetic field during the time of transition are called keepers of the flame, and they would, over a period of years, dispense the fifth-dimensional frequencies throughout large numbers of the population, assisting the populace to assemble the fifth DNA strand, expand their consciousness and transmute their bodies, so portions of the population could catch the morphogenetic wave, discussed later, and pass through the halls of Amenti on the wave, while the dimensional blend was still in effect. Once the cycle of dimensional blending was through, the flame would be placed back in the sphere and the remaining populations would continue to evolve on Earth until the next morphogenetic wave. The people who were able to catch the first wave would find themselves teleported into the future, where they would appear on the Terran landmass that was once called the continent of Mu. This Terran location represents the primary reality of Earth as it exists about 2,500 years in the future. The version of Earth whose grid has completed its merger with Terra. This path of accelerated evolution constitutes leaping past 2,500 years of evolution within Earth's present time continuum, and represents literal, biological time travel into the future. With the opening or sparking of the Ark of the Covenant, this path of accelerated evolution would become available to some humans on Earth. The keepers of the flame would be responsible for assisting people who were ready to take this morphogenetic wave voyage and preparing their bodies and consciousness for this transition. The keepers of the flame would receive their infusion of D5 frequency from one primary individual who had the genetic code that would allow the flame to be fully embodied as it passed through the Ark of the Covenant. That person is called the flame bearer or the staff holder. The flame bearer would have to activate the 12-strand DNA package within the body before being able to embody the flame. This person would incarnate with a support team of 6 fully activated 12-strand avatars, souls from the fourth harmonic universe, who would raise the planetary frequency high enough to allow the flame bearer to fully activate the codes. Due to the bioenergetic mechanics of the human body, the flame bearer would have to be female in gender, the avatars all male. in order to keep the energetic balances of the planetary grid intact. During the opening of the Ark of the Covenant, there would also be a family of individuals appointed to embody the rod, the orange-gold flame morphogenetic field of Earth. During the time of transition, the rod holder would be male. Members of these specialized incarnational groups would have to incarnate in the proper sequence, within the right time periods in conjunction with the Earth's time cycles, and within the appropriate genetic lineages that would provide them with the needed genetic imprint. The process of opening the Ark of the Covenant and allowing the sphere of Amenti to return to Earth required a tremendous amount of multidimensional organization. The fulfillment of the promise of the Ark of the Covenant would take over 800,000 years to fulfill, and meanwhile the races of the third seeding would begin their evolutionary journey toward that destination.